Uh, Similar to the changeover procedure, there is a process called changeback procedure, which is followed when uh, a, a signaling link comes back from the out of service. Okay, so let's say there is a there is a signaling link which has been out of service and now it has come back to the normal state. So this process will be followed to get back the traffic on this signaling point. Okay, so let's suppose there are two signaling points, signaling point 1 and signaling point 2, and there are two links. This is link 0, this is link 1, and link 0 has been out of service till now, and all the traffic has been going via this link 1. So when link 0 wants to come back from out of service to the normal state, then this changeback procedure will be followed, and this will, in order to follow this process, the signaling point 1 will send the changeback declaration from SP1 to SP2. Okay, so a CBD message will be sent, and this will state that now the signaling link 1 will not no more be used, and everything will be diverted to the signaling link 0. And with the acknowledgement of this, it will get the CBA message, the change back acknowledgement from SP2, and after this acknowledgement, the new MSUs will be sent over the link 0. Okay, now in this process, there is no need to copy the transmission buffer and the retransmission buffer from signaling from 1 to 0. The reason is the one link is actually a good link. The traffic is already there. I mean, the link is proper. So the transmission and retransmission will anyway happen in a good way. So there is no loss of data. So there is no need to copy transmission and retransmission buffer from 1 to 0. It will just straight away transfer the new MSUs starting with the 0. Okay, and another difference is that when the changeback declaration is received from SP1, SP2 has to initiate its own changeback procedure because SP2 is also sending the traffic. So what it will do after receiving the changeback declaration, it will also initiate the changeback declaration back to SP1. Okay, and the SP1 will again send the changeback acknowledgement to SP2, and after SP2 has sent the changeback acknowledgement, the SP2 will start using signaling link 0 for sending and receiving all the data. Okay, so you can say the changeback process is just to send the data. It is just you can say a way of telling the other node that now it is going to use the alternate link for sending the data. So that's why this message has to be used by both the signaling points separately. Okay, and it will just have you can say it will not require any copying of any copying of transmission buffer as well as retransmission buffer. It is not required because the link in question, the current link is basically proper link, and it can do the transmission and retransmission without any problem. So there is no need to copy, no need to do this thing. Okay, and it is important to note that this CBD, CBA messages, these changeback declaration, changeback acknowledgement, these messages, it can be sent over either of these two links because both are proper links. So it can be sent on any of these links. It is not necessary that it should use the old link only. It can be any of these links. And another thing is when the changeback procedure is triggered, there is a changeback buffer formed. Okay, So this changeback buffer, it keeps all the new MSUs which are coming into the layer, and only after the changeback acknowledgement has come, it will use this changeback buffer to create the transmission buffer of this link. Okay, and same thing is followed in the signaling point 2 also. When the changeback procedure is initiated, then changeback buffer is formed, and in this changeback buffer all the new incoming MSUs will be kept till the acknowledgement has come from the other party, and after that all these changeback buffer will go into the transmission buffer of corresponding signaling point, and it is used for transmitting all the MSUs. Okay. So let's take the format of change back message and change back acknowledgement. So this is MTP3 layer message, which is encapsulated again in the MTP2 layer message, and which has standard parts like CRC, LI, FIB, FSN that we have taken in another lecture. So the essential part is the MTP3 layer payload, which is the information part, and this part contains all the parameters required to convey the change back message. Okay, so the first part is CBC, which is the change back code, then H1, then H0, then the routing label, and then the service information. Okay, now this change back code is 8-bit in size, H1 is 4-bit, H0 is 4-bit, and the routing label is 32-bit, and the SIO is 8-bit. Okay, so the main part is the relevant to changeback messages, changeback code H1 and H0. H0 is going to be fixed for this, so it is 0001. H1 is going to be 0101. That's for the changeback message, and for the changeback acknowledgement, this is going to be 110. Okay, so based on this H1 field, it is going to determine that whether it's a changeback message or changeback acknowledgement. Okay, and the CBC field, this is going to identify there can be several changeback happening uh, in parallel. Okay, okay, so let's say SP1, SP0 is here, and signaling point 1 is here. There is this link 1, link 2, link 3, and there is a change back happening from this link to this link, and this link to this link. Okay, so the messages on this link is going to have multiple changeback messages. So to distinguish between each and every changeback message, there is one identifier which is added in this MTP3 layer message. Okay, so that identifier is going to distinguish between several concurrent parallel changeback messages. Okay, so that's the 8-bit changeback code. Now, in case of emergency,